Nope, the light's still on.
No, that's okay. I started it again. Is there a little red dot up here? Good. We're good, Larry. Appreciate it. Is that your way right there? Is that okay? You can see around it? Okay, thank you. All right, my friends. So what I want to do now, I want to focus more on this stuff that we're doing today, which is using proportions to solve problems. Like, the first couple days we spent in class, we just doing proportions, making sure we know how to do them again. But what I want to do now is I really want to focus on using them to actually do things. Because that's kind of the point. Like, learning math just to learn math is like, yeah, whatever. But learning math to actually do something with it is kind of important. And it's one of my favorite things to hear from my students is when they say things like, wow, I didn't realize math was useful. And I'm like, ooh, that kind of breaks my heart. Because how did you get through so much math without ever realizing it's useful? I'm handing you now what are called notes. You keep all the pages I'm handing you. There are 3 pages. You keep all of them. We have a 3-hole punch somewhere in this room. At least there was. Or a stapler. There's staplers floating around. There are. Is there a 3-hole punch? There was a 3-hole punch in here. I don't know where it went. It should be floating around the room somewhere. If not, we'll go find one in the other room and bring it in here. You keep all of them, Ajna. Yeah, this is one you gotta keep all. There it is. You're gonna keep all 3 of these. You're gonna keep all of these. And this is kind of, students often ask, like, okay, like, where's the textbook for the course? This is kind of the beginning of it. You're building a book with the papers I give you. So that's why you can 3-hole punch it, and you can stick it into your folder. Keep all those. Be selfish. What else? What I'd like you to do as I'm handing these out, I'm glad I did. I know myself. I know my limitations. Self-actualization, right? Or self-realization, I should say. I know I can't do 2 things at once. Harder than it looks. There we go. My thumb is a little bit broken today. I don't know what's going on there. I told you why I don't staple these, right? Because it saves you money. If I use the machine that staples, it costs 10 cents a sheet, which is handed right down to students. If I make you staple it, it's free. I like it too. I'm glad you like it. It makes me happy. I don't have to pay anymore. You have to. Everybody get it? Everybody get their notes? Hang tight, because I gotta give you a penny as well. Yes. Yes. Take a penny. That's 1 penny per person. That's 1 person. 1 penny per person. I think that that's okay, just because I use them in many of my classes. I mean, if you're really hard up for a penny, yeah, take it by all means. It's true. And a penny, look at a penny in 2019. I'm really surprised they still make pennies. Can you even use a penny? Besides like scratching off at a lottery ticket, can you do anything with it?
Yeah, 99-cent store.
But you need 99 of them. Like, I'm talking like one penny.
They have the items for like 1 cent though.
Really?
99 cents max.
They actually, there are actually things that cost a penny? Oh, go to that store. Sounds like fun. All right, here's what I want you to do. Everybody get a penny? Good.
Including Arizona.
Sorry. Ladies, I didn't give you pennies either. I am the worst. The worst, Jessica. The worst. Pennies? Did y'all get pennies back? Darcy, I gave your table pennies? I did. Pennies? Yes? Okay, I think I got the room covered. Jordan, I give you one? You need one too?
No, I got one.
You got one. Excellent. Okay. All right, here's what I want you to do, people. I want you to look at your notes, and I want you to do the first 2 questions. It says, flip your coin 2 times and circle how many heads you get on those 2. So if anybody's never flipped a coin before, which is totally fine, sometimes you don't, there's a couple ways you can do it. So one way is kind of fun. You kind of balance it on your pointer finger and your thumb like that, and then put your thumb down like that, more like in your finger. Yeah. And then you flip, and it should go up. It also might remind your classmates. That was perfect. That was a perfect flip. Count it. If you're having a hard time flipping, just kind of throw it at the table.
That's right.
That's okay too. You can kind of just throw it, let it bounce around a little bit, hit things. And the idea of a coin flipping is kind of like the idea of a die rolling. It is a randomizer.
I always fail on every one.
So it's only
Now spinning, that's a fun one. Who just spun that? That was fun. Chris, was that you?
All of us.
All of you are spinning. Spinning, believe it or not. Oh, we might have to do that experiment. Yeah, we might have to. Now that I see you spinning, we might have to do the spinning experiment. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's very good. Oh, got me excited.
Tuesday's fast.
Say it again.
Tuesday's fast.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe actually. Yeah. It's a long warm up though. It would take a big chunk of time. Might be worth it though. Might be worth it. Love it.
But you can go with the
So, once you flip, once you flip, I want you to write mathematically the results you got in number 2. So in other words, here's the information you have. You have a number of times you flipped your coin, and of that, you also have a number of times you got heads. How can you express that mathematically? Like for example, if I were to express the fraction of time I catch fish in the Polish River, it would be 0 over 20. 100% of the time, I catch 0% of the fish. So something along those lines, but don't use percentages. Use something we've been talking about. Use something we've been talking about. And I'll put this up on the board. Jessica, it's okay. If you want to flip a coin too, that's okay. You don't have to, though. You can just look at our results. Is that red light still on, Larry? Okay, good. Thank you. All right. 58 portions. There we go. Down.
This happens a lot more often.
Ooh, I heard happens a lot more often. That kind of makes me happy to hear stuff like that. Happens more often. That's like math that's implying something. Okay, so let's collect, we're gonna kind of do a couple things at once here. We're gonna collect the data into chart 3. So I'm gonna actually start by asking you to raise your hand for number 1. How many of us in number 1 got 0 heads? No heads at all when you flipped it 2 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna just do a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I do tally marks like this. I mentioned Jenna earlier, we were talking about rolling the dice and keeping track. Tally marks are often pretty convenient ways of keeping track of things. Like as they happen, just kind of tally, 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 tally. The fish rescue is a great example of this. We have to actually count every fish that we put in buckets and then re-release into the river. And there's kokanee, there's whitefish, there's rainbow trout, there's little sculpin, and there's thousands of them coming through. So you don't write 1, then cross it off, then write 2, then cross it off, then write 3. You literally just go tick, 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 tick. I mean, it's much more convenient. Okay, how many of us got 1 head out of their 2 flips? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Wow.
Thank you. And I guess I could do math to figure this next one out. How could I do math to figure this next one out?
There's 24 people in the class.
You already counted, Chris?
Yeah.
You'd a bomb. Thank you, sir. There's 24 people in the class. 12 are here. Don't count me. I didn't do the experiment. Is 24?
Yeah.
24. So 12 were here, take them out. 7 were here, take them out.
19 minus 12.
Exactly. So I think there's going to be 5 people left that had 2 flips. Let's just double check. Raise your hand if you had 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6.
Oh.
Raise your hand again if you had 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe I counted wrong. No, I'm gonna blame myself. Don't blame Chris. Blame me. It's easier to blame me. It's probably more correct too. It's all good. Did you count yourself, Chris?
Oh, 7.
Did you count yourself?
No, I didn't.
Okay, there's 25. That's very selfless of you, sir. I appreciate that very much. Okay, good. So let me ask a question. What did you put here for number 2? So you're in one of those results, right? You're either a 0 heads, a 1 heads, or a 2 heads. What did you put as your answer for number 2? Just go ahead, tell me. 1 out of 2? 0 out of 2? 2 out of 2? So it sounds like, did anybody ever put fractions? Yeah, probably. That makes the most sense, right? Flip a coin, 1 out of 2 heads.
I did 100%.
Lay an egg in the sand, 1 out of 2 hatches. babies go to the sea, 1 out of 1,000 makes it. These are good things for fractions. You've got a total, and then you've got a sub part of that total that's talking about something. Make sense so far? Okay, good. Did you notice how I did those here? But I threw some words in? Are the words bothering anybody? Do the words bother anybody? 0 heads out of 2 flips of coin. Does that bother anybody?
No.
It shouldn't, right? Why?
It's just labels.
It's just labels, and I'm telling you what the 1/2 means. Because if you went into another math class and wrote down 1/2, would they know you flipped a coin? No. I mean, even in a statistics class or a probability class, they probably wouldn't know what the 1/2 stood for. So it's helpful to actually label it so that they know what it stands for, if that makes sense. All right, now down here, we're going to create what's called a dot plot. So just FYI, I'm going to drop this word on you right now, rates. The only difference between a pure ratio and a rate is a rate has units. You might want to, and these are your notes, right? You can jot things on these notes. You can write things on these notes. A rate is really just a fraction that has units attached to it somewhere. That's all. Like if I asked you, what fraction of days this week did you make it to class on time?
100%.
You say 0%?
100%.
Oh, 100%. So 5 out of 5?
Yeah.
5 out of 5, because 5 days made out, well, 4 out of 4, I guess, because it's only Thursday. 4 out of 4.
Man.
So 4 days I made it to class on time, out of 4 days.
I've been
2 out of 4? 2 out of 4. So 2 days made it to class on time out of 2 days total. How many days this week did I eat my breakfast before coming to class?
100%.
0 days
0.
out of 4 days, which is why I'm always eating when I'm in class, because I haven't quite figured the timing out yet. I'm getting there. How many days did I forget to pack oatmeal and brought one of my son's Pop-Tart pouches? 1 day out of 4 days. That was Monday. Damn it, I think oatmeal last night. Just so you know, Pop-Tarts are not a substitute for oatmeal. Well, it's sugar. Make sense? That's what a rate is. Now, what's a dot plot? We're gonna make a dot plot now. So I'm gonna scooch this up just a touch so you can see a little bit better. Actually, I wanna shrink it down a little bit. Okay.
Is dot plot a scatter plot?
Say that again.
So there's a dot plot and scatter plot.
A dot plot is actually not a scatter plot.
Oh.
A dot plot is a different kind of plot, though, Morgan. That was fantastic. I'm glad. Who has ever heard of a scatter plot? This is fantastic news. Now, both a scatter plot and a dot plot use points to identify data. But a scatter plot is a very special kind of plot. It actually shows 2 different pieces of data simultaneously. Like, for example, it might show on one axis. These are called axes. Anytime you have a plot that has lines, it's an axis. So this axis right here, I'm going to draw that right here, it's called an axis. This axis right here is keeping track of the number of us that got 0 heads out of 2 flips, 1 head out of 2 flips, and 2 heads out of 2 flips. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go ahead and add some dots to this plot. And all you're going to do is this. See what I just did? See what I just did? What did I just do?
You put dots on the board.
How many did I put on the board?
7.
Why did I put 7?
Because that's how many got 0.
Because there were 7 of us in the first category. Guess what your job is going to be?
Put dots on the paper.
Yes! Your job is now to do the other 2 categories. If you run out of space, just go past the line. It's totally fine. I never know how big to make that box, and most of the time I make it too small. So the answer should be make it bigger. Yeah, sometimes you're on a space, you can come around the corner too. That works too. That works too.
For one round.
Really small.
Say it again.
Stay in the lines.
Stay. Well, you don't have to. It's not like. Yeah. That's how to breed regurgitators and not free thinkers. So go out of lines if you have to.
Maybe in a way, yeah.
In a way, for certain applications, not in math class.
Yeah.
In math, you're right. Very good, sir. Very good, sir.
Very good.
Yeah, there's certain ways you should stay like when you're driving. Stay between those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you, brother. I got you. All right, how many dots did you put for 1 head out of 2 flips?
13.
13? 12? You're always off by 1, Chris. I love it. Hey, when you add in your dots, hey, check it out. I'm gonna add my dots. You critique it.
Garbage.
Garbage, absolute garbage. Why?
That'd be scatter plot.
Well, that looks like a scatter plot now. Very good. And the fact that, okay, I'll do them again. You critique.
It's not gonna be an accurate representation.
Tell me why. You see the spacing I used on that one? Now some of you are like, but you put 12 dots down, right? You put 12 dots down. I did put 12 dots down. The problem with putting 12 dots in that way is, I spaced these different than these, didn't I? And the problem with that is, your brain is actually probably going to process that very differently. It's going to view this as one bar, and it's going to view this as one bar, and it's going to say, holy hell, there's like 5 times as many people that had 1 that had 2. So what kind of spacing should I use on the 1?
2 lines of 6.
You know what? I'm going to go 1 line of 12 if that's okay with you. I don't mind 2 lines of 6. I don't mind anybody that did 2 lines of 6. But I'm going to do it this way. And you're going to critique this one for me, okay? Critique me, please. It's a little bit bendy. I get that. But as far as the spacing goes, is it okay?
Yeah.
Why is that important? Why is equal spacing between dots important?
So we know it's the same dot.
Yeah, because if you think about it, there's just about twice as many here as here, yes? And there's just about twice as many here as also here, yes? Just about twice as many? So how much bigger should this look than either of these?
Twice as big.
It should look twice as big. And the way to deal with that is to make the dots equally spaced between each other. We buying this, my friends? Jordan, you buying this? Does it make sense? Okay, good, thank you. That's a dot plot. Now, back to Morgan. Your awesome question from before about scatter plot. This plot really only has one data axis. The data axis is here. So this axis that I pointed to, that axis contains the data. Data is something we collected, which we just did. We just collected data on your coin flips. The vertical spacing, Morgan, is simply a count. We're simply going, oh, there were 7. Oh, there were 12. Oh, there were 5. That's all. Nothing super special about that. Are we buying this, people? How we feeling? Feeling okay? I think you need a break. I'm starting to see that glazed donut look up. And you're looking around the room, I'm starting to see like a little drool forming in your corners. Jessica, you take a break too, okay? All right. Take 5. Go wander. I want to talk to Morgan about homework. I want to talk to somebody else about something else. I forget who I want to talk to. Ellie, yes, talk to you too. I'm going to turn the camera off though, and turn it back on later.